Any substance that has made up of mass and occupies space is called matter. It is made up of small particles called atoms that cannot be further divided. This idea was first proposed by the Greek philosopher Democritus back in 460 BC. However, due to the lack of scientific evidence, Democritus' ideas were considered more speculation and ignored. For 200 years until John Dalton proposed the atomic theory of matter in 1898, Dalton proposed that atom is the ultimate particle of matter. This theory is called Dalton atomic theory. It postulates that all matter is composed of atoms that cannot be made or destroyed. All atoms of the same element are identical. Different elements have different types of atoms. Chemical reaction occurs when atoms are rearranged. Compounds are formed from atoms of the constituent elements. Dalton atomic theory was able to explain the law of conservation of mass, multiple proportion and constant composition. However, it could not explain the results of many experiments conducted by the scientists in the later part of 19th century and the 20th century. For example, it could not explain the electric nature of matter as explained by Michael Faraday. Though his experiment in 1830, Michael Faraday found that when electricity is passed through an electrolyte, which is a solution that conducts electricity chemical reaction resulting in the deposition of matter at the electrode takes place. This experiment proved that electricity consists of charged particles, in turn indicated the electric nature of matter. The structure of an atom, however, was demystified only when William Crookes conducts experiment to study the electrical discharge through gases in the apparent is used for his experiment consists of a gas discharge tube now called cathode rays tube or Kirch tube and a high voltage source of 10,000 volt. The discharge tube was sealed at both the ends and was fitted in a thin piece of metal called electrode. At each side end has a side tube fitted with a stopcock that connected with a vacuum pump to control the pressure of a gas or air. Contained inside the tube crooks observed that a low pressure of 0.01 atmospheric when high voltage of 10,000 volt is applied across the electrode of the discharge tube current start flowing inside the tube to further study the behavior of this current. He punches at the anode inside the cathode ray tubes and coated the glass tube behind the anode with the fluorescent material such as zinc sulfide and then repeated the experiment. This time he noticed a bright spot on the coating behind the anode which confirmed two things. One, the current consists of invisible ray of particle, some of which could pass through the perforated anode. These rays were emitted out of the cathode and moved towards the anode. These rays were named cathode rays and some rays about the cathode rays were discovered in 1897 by J.J. Thomson and other scientists through a series of experiments. In one of his experiments, Thomson observed that it is a pinwheel is placed in between in the path of cathode rays. The rays cause the pinwheel to rotate. This implies that cathode rays are made up of material that is produce a mechanical effect. He then observed that if a metal foil is placed in part of cathode rays, it become hot. This implies that cathode ray produce a heating effect. Thomson also observed that if a solid object is placed in the path of cathode ray, it produces a sharp shadow of the project. He concluded that cathode travel in a straight line. However, when he applied an electric field to the center, the cathode ray deflected towards the positive plate of the electric field. He observed that the same result on applying a magnetic field. Therefore, he conducted that the cattle tree consists of negatively charged particles which he named electron. Through his experiment, Thomson concluded that the properties of cathode rays, electrode and the nature of gas present in the cathode ray tube, this led him to conclusion that electrons are the basic constituent of all atoms. Thomson then tried to calculate the charge to mass ratio of electron by applying electric and magnetic field perpendicular to each other. To the path of electron flowing in cathode ray, he observed that amount of deviation of the electron from their path depends on three main signs. One, the magnitude of the negative charge on the particle on the negative charge, the greater the deflection to the place of the right of the cathode particle, the greater the deviation. The strength of electrical or magnetic field, the stronger the magnetic field, higher the deflection. When only electrical sheet is applied, the electron deviation from path and hit the cathode ray tube at a point. Similarly, when magnetic field is applied, electrons strike the cathode rays tube at point C. By controlling the deviation of electron by varying the strength of electrical and magnetic field and accurately measuring on the amount of resultant deflections, he calculated the charge to mass ratio of an electron, which equals 1.758 to 0 into 10 to raise to power 11 coulombs per kg. The charge and mass of the electron, however, remained unknown until another scientist, Robert Millikan, devised a method to calculate them 1999 in order to calculate the charge of an electron. Millikan conducted the famous oil drop experiment by using the apparatus shown here. It consists of a transparent electrical condenser with one metal plate at the top and the bottom of the chamber plate connected to a battery such that the upper plate is positively charged and the lower plate is negatively charged. An atomizer to spray oil into the condenser through a hole in the upper metal plate, a telescope to view the movement of drop, act on a source of X-ray to ionize the air inside the electrical condenser using the atomizer. Millikan spray oil droplets into the electrical condenser. As the droplet fell through in the upper pinhole, he measured the rate of fall and used is to calculate their mass. Then he ionized the air inside the condenser by passing a beam of X-ray through it. The X-ray displays electron from air molecule which negatively charge the oil droplet. On applying voltage, upper positive plate, the charged oil droplet got attached towards it against all gravitational electrostatic source. Millikan then varied the voltage to strike a balance between the acting force and to make the oil droplets stationary. He then calculated the charge on the droplet from the mass of oil droplet and then the from the mass of oil droplet and the then charge on the plate. He found that the magnitude of the electric charge Q on the droplet is always an integer multiple of the electrical charge E. That is, Q is equal to 2n and E. Knowing the value of Q and N, Millikan calculated the charge on an electron be 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. The mass of the electron or Result of Millikan-Old experiment and Thomson value by E by M ratio and was found to 9.1094 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Just like the discovery of cathode rays leads to discovery of negative charge particles. And annual rains lead to the discovery of the positive charge particle called proton, and called Kinnell trees were discovered the Egostine in 1886 when he repeated the cathode ray experiment conducted by Crook with a perforated cathode ray instead of a perforated anode ray. He observed that discharge tube containing a perforated cathode also it a glow at the cathode end. Goldstein concluded that in addition to the already known cathode rays, there is another way that travel in the opposite direction, since these rays pass through the holes or channels. In the cathode, he called the canals rains, and they consisted of positive ion whose charge and mass value depend on the gas made the discharge tube. Hydrogen gas produced the smallest and the lightest. With the magnitude of the charge same as that of an electron built with the positive charge, that is plus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and a mass that was found to similar to that of hydrogen atom, that is 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 24 gram. Mass of the positive charge particle originated from the other gases in the discharge tube was found to be whole number multiples of mass of those originated from the hydrogen gas. Therefore, the positive particles from hydrogen gas carrying on positive charge, the mass equivalent to a hydrogen atom, were taken as the fundamental particle of any atom and were named as proton. By 1913, after performing a considerable amount of research on the charge and mass negative and positive subatomic particles, scientists tried calculating the atomic mass. It was determined that the atomic number of an element is equal to the number of protons present in its nucleus. It was thought, but since each proton has one unit mass on the atomic, the mass of an atom must be number of protons present in the nucleus, as electrons have negligible mass. However, it was discovered that the mass of all proton in an atom put together is much less than the actual mass of an atom. It was this thus conclude that the excess mass was due to some other particle in atom that has considerable mass but no change. In 1932, James Chadwick proves that the presence of these heavy neutral particles through a series of scattering experiments. In one of his experiments on bombarding a beryllium plate with alpha particles, Chadwick observed the emission of a neutral particle whose mass was equivalent to that of a proton. He named this particle as neutron. After all the subatomic particles were discovered, it was concluded that an atom is made up of proton or positively charged particles, electron or negatively charged particles, and neutron that are neutral charge. The then summarize the properties of these fundamental particles through various experiments was established that an atom consists of subatomic particles such as proton, electron, and neutron. Now let us look the arrangement of these subatomic particles. Particles in an atom different model were proposed to explain the distribution of subatomic particles in an atom. All these models, the model proposed by J.J. Thomson and Ernest Rutherford, out of great significance as they paved the way for modern structure of an atom. Let's discuss both these models one by one. J.J. Thomson in 1898 proposed the atomic model called Thomson's atomic model. Soon after the discovery of electron, according to this model, an atom is a sphere of radius 10 to the power minus 10 meter with uniform distribution of mass and positive charge with negatively charged particle hold electron embedded in this model. The negatively charged particles that are embedded in evenly spread positive charge can be visualized as plum or raisins or seams that are embedded in the pudding or watermelon. Therefore, this model is also called plum pudding model. Descent pudding or watermelon model, although this model successfully explained the overall neutrality of the atom, it could not explain the result could not explain the result of the scattering experiment conducted by Ernest Rutherford. You also it could not explain the stability of an atom, that is how the positively charged particles are shielded from negatively charged particle without getting neutralized. In order to validate Thomson's atomic model in 1911, Rutherford and his student Geiger and Ernest Murdson conducted an experiment called the gold foil experiment or alpha scattering experiment. Before we propose to alpha particle scattering experiment, let us acquaint with the term and the four particle source other than particles emitted from the same source. And the new few characteristics, we know that certain elements radiation on their own, and this phenomena is called radioactivity. The element and thus all its radioactive elements, the alpha rays are emitted by these radioactive elements. Radioactive elements along with beta and gamma rays. Rutherford found that alpha rays consist of high energy particles carrying 2 units of positive charge and 4 units of atomic mass. Hence, these particles are positive helium nuclei. The beta rays are negatively charged particles similar to electron, and the gamma rays are high energy radiation like X-ray. Unlike alpha and beta ray, gamma rays do not contain particles and are neutral in nature. The alpha particle have the least penetrating power among the three. The penetrating power of beta particles is nearly 100 times, and the penetrating power of gamma rays is nearly 1000 times more than of the alpha particles. Now let us move on to the alpha particles. Scattering experiment. In this experiment, a stream of high energy alpha particles from a radioactive source was bombarded on a very thin gold foil. The thin gold foil has a circular fluorescent zinc sulfide screen around it. Whenever alpha particles struck the zinc sulfide screen, a tiny flash of light was produced at that point. This Thomson model is correct, then the alpha particle should pass through the gold foil almost undeflected. This is because the entire mass and the positive charge is uniformly spread throughout an atom. However, the observations are quite contrary to these expectations. The following are the unexpected observations made in this experiment. Most of the particles pass through the gold foil undeflected. A small fraction of alpha particles were deflected by small angles. A few alpha particles were deflected by large angles. A very little amount of alpha particles, 1 in 20,000, were bounced back to the status nearly by 180 degree. Based on these observations, he concluded that Most of the alpha particles pass undeflected. Most of the space inside the atom is empty. Only a small number of deflected particles suggested that the positive charge of the atom is not spread throughout the atom as Thomson's stated that. Now, rather, it is concentrated at the center in a very small volume. The alpha particles that are deflected by large angles and by 180-degree indicated that the air bomb has a dense positive charge with entire mass concentrated at the center as the alpha particles approach much nearer to the massive positively charged center. They get deflected by large angle as they directly hit the massive positively charged center. They get deflected nearly by 180 degree. It is due to increase in enormous repulsive force from the massive positively charged center. Rutherford named the positively charged center present in an atom as nucleus. Calculation spiral default shows that the volume of the nucleus is negligible as compared to the total volume of the atom. For an atom of the radius 10 to the power minus 10 meter, the radius of the nucleus is about 10 to the power minus 15 meter. That means if a cricket ball represents a nucleus, that the radius of the atom would be about the kilometer. Based on the observation and conclusion of the gold foil experiment, Rutherford proposed a new atomic model called Rutherford nuclear model of an atom. Immediately after the discovery of proton, according to the Rutherford nuclear model of an atom consists of a tiny dense positively charged center called nucleus. Entire positive charge and most of the atomic mass of an atom is concentrated in the nucleus. Electrons are found outside the nucleus. We revolve around the nucleus with high velocities and circular paths so as to counterbalance the electrostatic force of attraction between the proton and the electron. Electrostatic force of attraction, both the electron and the nucleus held together in an atom. As electrons move in a circular path around the nucleus, just like planets revolve around the sun in the solar system. Rutherford atomic model is also called planetary model. Thus, Rutherford model could account for the presence of the nucleus and electron outside the nucleus. However, it seems to explain stability of the atom. According to the Maxwell theory of electromagnetic radiation, a charged particle in a circular motion emits energy continuously. Hence, an electron revolving around the nucleus also loses energy. As a consequence of this, electron follow the spiral path towards the nucleus, and this ultimately results in collapse of an atom. The composition of an atom can be represented symbolically as Z. As shown here, symbol X represents the symbol of the element. That subscript on the left hand side of the X represents the atomic mass number, and the subscript Z on the left hand side represents the atomic number of the element. As you have learned before, atomic numbers give the total number of proton present in an atom, while the atomic mass number give the total number of proton and neutron present in that atom. Let us work on a simple problem before proceeding further. An atom has 29 electron and 35 neutron. Calculate the number of proton and the mass number of the element. Also write the complete symbol of the atom. Atomic number set is equal to the number of proton, which is equal to the number of electron in the atom. We can say that the number of proton is 29. We know that mass number E is equal to the sum of the number of proton and the neutron. Hence, the mass number of the given element is equal to 29 plus 35, which is equal to 64. Since the atomic number of the element is 29, the of the atom is copper. The complete symbol of the atom may be represented as shown here. In some cases, atoms of the same element may have the same number of protons that in the atomic number, but may have different number of neutrons. In other words, the atom have the same atomic number and different mass number. Atoms are called isotopes. Isotopes of the same element occupy the same place in the periodic table because they have the same atomic number. Number. Let's look at few examples of isotopes. Let 99.985% of hydrogen atom contain only a single proton in their nucleus. This isotope of hydrogen is called protium, H1. One remaining 0.015% contain two other isotopes, deuterium, which contain one proton and one neutron, and the tritium, which contain one proton and two neutrons. You can see that all these three isotopes have the same atomic number and mass number 1, 2 and 3 respectively. This carbon has isotopes with mass number 12, 13 and 14 respectively. Similarly, chlorine atom number 17 has two isotopes with mass number 35 and 37. Isotope of these elements other than hydrogen do not have special name, that they are represented by simply indicating the mass number on the element symbol. The chemical properties of element depends on the number of electrons present and their configuration within, and not on the number of neutrons. Hence, as the isotope have the same number of electrons, they exhibit similar chemical properties. However, as the mass of isotope differ due to different number of neutrons present in an atom, their physical property different from each other. Some atoms of different elements are found to have the same mass number but different number of, for example, 18. For example, if see here, argon 18, mass number is 40, potassium 19, mass number is 40, calcium 20, mass number is 40. Same mass number, different atomic numbers. Such system of different atomic numbers having different atomic numbers but the same mass number are called isobars. Have different physical property because they have different atomic numbers. We have already learned that the Rutherford model, nuclear model of an atom basically suffer from two drawbacks, which are follows as: it could not explain the stability of an atom in the view of the electromagnetic theory. Secondly, a consequences of its possibility to not explain the stability of an atom, it could not explain the observed spectra. This is because, according to the electromagnetic theory, an accelerated electron continuously emits energy and ultimately it falls into the nucleus. Along the spiral path, as the electron is emitting the energy continuously, the spectrum of such an atom also should be continuous. But the spectra of the element indicates that atom emit energy discontinuously, and hence the Rutherford model, atomic model, could not explain the observed spectra of atom. Another drawback is that it could not explain the electronic structure of atom, that is the distribution and energies of electron in an atom. These drawbacks inspired several scientists to revisit the historical results about the behavior of electromagnetic radiation and its interaction with matter in order to improve the Rutherford atomic model. That improvised outcome of the Rutherford atomic model is the Bohr's atomic model. Thank you so much, student. I hope you understand the lectures, and basically these topics are deleted by the CBSE in last year, but they included this year again. So we have to go through that and just watch the video 2 3 times. So you will able to understand the different type of models, and we had that, and we explained here the Bohr model at Rutherford model and the discovery of the subatomic particles, and we also discussed the number of proton, neutron and electron here. I hope you doing well. Thank you so much.